everybody, coming at you from out in the wilderness. Today we are going to see how well plasma lighters work. First, a little bit of discussion about fire and starting fires, and then we're going to take this plasma electric arc lighter and another lighter, and we're going to test things that we find in the wilderness to see how good these things are, if they're any good for wilderness survival or camping or just any kind of outdoors type pursuits. All right, so this is going to be interesting because I haven't used these much. All right, now any good outdoor educator or survival instructor is going to talk about fire inception. Now, that might be a term a lot of you had never heard of, but what it is it's not stages of fuel, tender kindling fuel. It's not the processes of a fire. It's the actual beginning of a fire. It's what you start a fire with. And so the beginning of a fire inception, is up until now there's only been 3. And that's an ember, a spark, or a flame. And that's how you start a fire. The ember is a bow drill or a hand drill or a fire plow, some kind of friction, and you have a glowing ember, and that's what you start with. A spark is a ferro rod or flint and steel or chert and steel, or sometimes there's a rare type of rock that'll spark off another rock. I think it's called a dragon stone maybe, but it's real rare. And then of course the other's a flame. You know, that's a match or a lighter. But they've come out some wild way. They've come out with a 4th one that is a electric arc. Some call it a plasma arc, some call it an electric arc, and it's literally what it is. Now I've got 2 different ones, and we're going to test them out. We're going to see what they are. These are a bunch of different companies make these things. They're like cheap junky. This is like some company called L-Fun or something. It's all neat looking. It's like camouflaged up, and it's got a flashlight built into the end of it. And you open it up, and you pop it open, and then there's a button on the side. And it's 4 little prongs with a electric arc or a plasma arc. Now the other one, it's got this knob that you turn on, and it's got lights on it that show you what its charge is, and it's flexible, and it's got 2 prongs. See? Now, to me, this thing could break easier, and this thing is, I don't know, it's a lot more heavy duty. It'd take a lot to damage that, but just by looking at these, and I haven't really messed with them much, that you would think that this 4 probe would be better. But I've noticed a lot of times that when you're holding tinder over the top of it, it kind of falls into it. And I don't know if you can clog these things up or not. I don't know, because I don't know if there's a little hole in them or something. And it's hard to hold it to the side. But now this thing that's got the 2 on it, you can turn it to the side and hold it in. So really, in reality, if there was an enclosable case on this thing that had 2 prongs, it might be better. But then again, it may prove me wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear out a little spot here. Oh, one other thing about carrying these things, they kind of tout this as like a survival device because it's in a complete enclosed container and it's got a flashlight. This thing here is more like for campers, and it would be really good for like lighting a stove, getting up inside there, or maybe if you've got a teepee fire and you got to get up inside the teepee fire. But for me, I think this thing could be breakable. So what I do, or I'm going to do, is I got this heavy duty case that I always carry, emergency signal flare. And what I'm going to do is whenever I carry it, I'm going to carry it in this thing. See, so there's no way it could be damaged. But anyway, that's how I was going to carry it, and I wanted to point that out for if any of you ever get anything here. I can't even pronounce this. But there's a bunch of those cheap Chinese companies on Amazon that has these things. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to run around we're going to try some stuff here. And as obvious, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use leaves. Because leaves and pine straw is the first two things we're going to try. Now, in case the wind blows, I've got this neat little windshield. And I wished I could figure out where it came from, but I got it from a estate sale, and I think it's pretty old. But if the wind picks up, I'm going to have to set that up behind it. And then I got a shovel here. This is my low down to the ground camera mount that I'm going to put you on when we're doing this stuff. And then I got a shovel because everything here's dry. Where'd the handle go? I think I just lost the, there it is. Everything's dry and I don't want any sparks or anything to catch anything on fire, so I'll clear out a little spot. So that's what we're going to do to start with. And then I got an axe and a machete in there for in case we want to carve up some limbs or some firewood or fatwood or some vines. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to clear out a spot. We're going to do pine straw, and then we're going to do leaves. And then I think right on the edge of that hill over there, I saw some brown dead grass. All right, so let's clear out a spot. You know, I think for this, instead of clearing out a spot, I'm just going to actually use this thing. Let's just lay this thing down right here and try it. All right, now let's try it. Now, I'm not going to do complete fire. I'm not going to make a complete and total fire. I'm just going to see how this stuff lights up. Now let's try one leaf. Oh yeah. Well, it went out quick. All right, well, let's try something else here. That went out very fast. Let's take a couple of leaves and let's bend them over and try to stack them up like that. Let's see if that's a little more sustainable. Nope, leaves don't do that good. And I've already got a little bit of something on that probe right there. Alright, let's see how the 4-prong does. Mash the button, flip it open. Whew, that did a better job right there. Now see, if you had some of them and you threw them into a properly prepared tinder bundle, I think you'd be good to go. Man, that is good that I got that. I may have to get that other tray though. I want to make sure not catch too much stuff on fire. All right, let me go find some pine straw and then I'm going to find that grass. All right, while the ashes are going out on the other thing, I'm just going to use my shovel to catch those. So I got a little bit of pine straw here. I think what we're going to do, I got a little bit more right here I'm getting up. This is some dry pine straw from a pine tree. Let's break this in half. All right. Now let's try this little thing here. Let's see how it does. Turn it upside down. Whew. Alright. Alright. I think I proved that'll work. That started burning my hand. Alright, now let's try the little survivalist one. Let's see what we got here. Now you can see that I think there's a clear advantage to this thing right here because it's got such like a deep throat to it, and this thing right here, these probes are so small. Yep, no problem there. Now, oh, I started burning my hand. Now, if you were to grab something like that with a multi-tool, I think you'd be better off. Now, while we're here, I doubt this is going to work, but I just reached over and noticed this is one of the little seed pod ball things from sweet gum tree. Let's see what it does. Those don't burn very good. It's glowing. Let's see how this thing does here. That won't even get to the little points on it, so that's a no-go. And the little orange glowing part's already gone. All right, let's see how some grass does. Look, there's some grass. Nice and dry. Let's pick some of this and we'll get the leaves out of it. And then there's some grass right there. Look, there's some more right over here. So I got a pretty good bit. Alright, let's see how this does. Now, I'm going to turn this over like that. Turn over like that. Let's open this up a little bit. Alright, now I think I'm going to do this. Oh, I need to be aimed towards the camera. Let's bend it back and forth like this. Alright. Now let's try the two-prong. Oh yeah! Oh man, that did good. Oh, that did so good. That was fast. That was the fastest one yet. Way better than leaves or pine straw. All right, I'm gonna let that die down. Well, let's pull it back a little bit so I'll have this to work with. All right, here we go with this. Get back up here on this. Woo. Oh! Now I like it for dry grass, and see the thing is look how long this is burning. You could throw wood shavings on top of that, or hold a feather stick over it, and that thing would be great. I like that. That's cool. Now, one of these days I got to test these things in cold temperatures. So let's try wood shavings now. Let's try wood shavings and see if I can find some fatwood. All right, I got a piece of hardwood branch, and then I got a piece off of a down pine tree. So let's see what some shavings can do. Let's see if I can get some shavings off of this. Now these I'm going to grab. Now like I said, if you had like a TP fire, you could, how should I say? Hey, let's just leave those attached to the stick. Move this up. Alright, I'm right over it. Let's try this. There we go. Oh, they fell. That's not good. Well, they burnt. That's good. I better put that out. We'll have a raging forest fire here. Let me aim the camera down. I may have to put you back on the regular tripod. There we go. Alright, here's a shovel. Now, let's try. Okay, that was the pine. Oh, okay, I got some more pine right here. let's just pick a piece up. I'm gonna have it right over the shovel. Let's pick 2 of these up and try this one. Let's see. Oh yeah. There you go. I wasn't in the camera range. Let's do one more. Let's do one more where you can see it ignite. Now this is just shaved. This is just pine, regular pine wood. Yeah, you can start a fire with that. All right. Now, let's see about the hardwood. Alright, we got us a couple of pieces here. This ain't got no bark on it, so let's use this one. Alright, let's see how this does. And see, as that's burning, you could just come down this entire edge. Look at that. Alright, it went out. Alright. This has got the bark on it. Let's see how that does. Usually bark doesn't do very well. Some certain barks will make a coal, but they're not great fire starters oftentimes. No problem there. That did great. Alright, now I'm going to lay that in that shovel and I'm going to let this go out real good so that I don't catch nothing on the ground on fire. And there's a bunch of pine trees over there, and I think one of them's really rotten. So fatwood or pine lighter or heart of pine, once you get it going, it's almost impossible to put out. But oftentimes it's got to be like paper thin to start it with a ferro rod. You just about got to start it with a match or a lighter. So we're going to see how these work out. If I can find some, I think it's over there. The knife goes in the sheath when you're done, not on the ground. Now this is old and dead. So what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to cut some fat wood out of it. Let's see. I'm going to try to not remove the whole branch if I can. I'm going to try to just kind of shave some off. I don't know if I can do it with a machete or not. Oh, that's a LT Wright machete. Anybody asked? Alright. That doesn't have that orange look to it, so that's just pine as far as I'm concerned. Whew, well, one side does. It's getting a little bit darker. I'm going to lay it right there and we'll carry it back to where my shovel is. Whew, it's got that smell to it. Got to get a couple seconds. Make sure that I've got enough. Now, this stuff's going to make black smoke. That's how you know the good pine. Oh, now there's some real good right there in the middle. Right there. It's got like an orange look to it. Let me take this knife and do this part right here. I may not light all this stuff, but y'all remember this right here, because this will be what really smokes black. All right, let's go back to camp. Well, go back to where everything's piled on the ground and try to light this stuff. Alright, we got all of our fatwood here that we collected. Let's see. Now these are the best pieces right here. This one and this one. Now these others, I don't know if they're going to burn jet black or not. We just want to see how they do. Now I'm not going to hold this, well, this may be long enough to hold it by hand. Alright, there you go. Now see, it's got a little bit of black smoke coming off of it. Now that did no problem. Can you see the black smoke? I don't know if you can or not. Whew, got hot. Alright, now let's try this other one with a piece. That's probably just about as thin. Just as a little side note, I thought it was interesting. I was reading in Colonel Townsend Whelan's book. It was written back in 1960. That he said that the chef in the old cowboy camps, when he needed light at night to cook, he would throw a giant hunk of fatwood on the fire to have light. That is absolutely no problem. Look at that. Whew, golly. All right, now I'm going to show you what, for those of you that aren't used to this, that's like I say, they call this stuff different names everywhere you go. It's pine lighter, heartwood, heart of pine, sapwood. Down south, us southerners call it fatwood because it is resinous rich. See, that took a while to light that. Listen to it. Look at that black smoke. It's probably not good on my pliers. As long as they don't get too hot. That black smoke. There you go. Now what did I do that with? Okay, I did it with that one, so let's do this one. And it smells like turpentine. Woo, that stuff lights off quick. That's where all the resins from the tree are. Look at that beautiful black smoke. That's how you can tell it's really rich pine. That is some good stuff. I hope my pliers clean up. Now a lot of people will carry a fire kit just like this, okay, like an old Altoids tin, and it may have in it waterproof matches, and it may have cotton balls in it. But if you think about it, if this gets wet, matches may be okay, but the cotton balls won't be unless they're soaking in Vaseline. I got to thinking, if you wanted to go all natural, just take some of these little fatwood shavings right there. That's enough for 4 fire startings right there, and just put it in there. And that would be great, just like that. All right. Now the other thing, people that know me and have seen my channel, they know that I love these little birthday candles. These things are great. Now I'm not even going to try to light a fireball. I mean a cotton ball, because I know it's going to burn. You just fluff it up real good, especially if it's got Vaseline on it. But for me, it's like, if you take one of these, if you take a match and you strike a match and you stick it inside your TP Fire or Tinder Bundle or whatever, you got about 5 seconds of match. But if you light this, you got like 2 to 3 to maybe 5 minutes on it. So you could also carry, if you didn't want to carry the fatwood, or if you couldn't get the fatwood, you know, you could carry this thing with a candle. Not a big deal. Try this one. And see, like I say, the survivalist in me likes candles. And the survivalist in me, the bushcrafter camper likes this because of the 2-prong. It just seems like it's a lot easier to do. But the survivalist in me likes this because this thing, it looks like there's an O-ring. Yes, there is. There is an O-ring around this thing. And this thing seals off. And on top of that, I think when it's closed, when you close the lid and lock this, that's when it becomes a light. You got a light, a dimmer light, and a blinking light. And to me, for you, now I don't know about campers and bushcrafters, but for the survivalist, one of the requirements for me for a light is it's got to have blinking. Got to. Because people that are just wandering around aimlessly in the woods or camping or whatever that use flashlights, that's one thing. They don't use blinking lights. So if somebody sees a blinking light, they'll know it's a distress signal. So, ooh, wait a minute, what's this? Oh, you got to pull it, roll this thing back, pop it open. Let's see how this does. No problem. That was much faster. Got to blow it out there. Now, one more thing I want to say about this. Let's cut both of these off. Now the other thing for me that I wanted to see is, what is the deal? These things are, in summertime, you have a fire for certain things, but it's not necessarily life-saving. But let's say, not just in a camping situation, but in a survival type situation, fire is imperative. So, if you happen to get lost in the wilderness in the winter, you may be wearing gloves. So just out of curiosity, I brought some gloves. Now these are cold weather flyers gloves. Okay, people know me that in the summer times, a lot of times when I'm in a buggy environment where there's bugs and poison ivy and stuff like that, I wear those Nomex flight gloves. Well, these are the cold weather flyers gloves. They're insulated. So it even says in there, made by Hand Logic. It's got Gore-Tex, and it's got insulation. Look, warning, not for firefighting. But anyway, for me, I don't know what y'all would wear. For me, this is what I would typically wear in the cold weather, is something like this. So, here's the other part of it. Can I operate these with these big, thick, insulated gloves on? So let's try this little one. No problem, cut it on. No problem to hit the button. Alright, now, how about this? Let's see, let's lock it. Alright, let's unlock it. Flip it open. No problem. Look, I can't even do it left-handed. I've been using these, playing around with these for a while. And I'll check back on a future video. But I read one of the reviews on some of these things, and they claim that these things, you don't even have to hardly charge them. That they're awesome. They're fantastic. Anyway, that's pretty much all for today. I wanted to cover those. I don't even know if anybody's ever talked about those things, but I've had those things for over a year and haven't really messed around with them much. But then the thought occurred to me the other day. I thought, yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll mess with them. So, but anyway, I think I like them. I think I'm going to mess with them more. I'm kind of an old-fashioned guy. You know, when I have time, the bushcrafter in me likes a hand drill and a bow drill. I've never in my life ever got an ember with a fire plow. I've tried and tried and tried, just gave up. But I have done numerous bow drill and hand drill fires. But then the survivalist in me likes a butane lighter or a ferro rod. But I may or may not, the survivalist in me may or may not like this. Because, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I didn't bring none of this stuff with me. Everything I gathered out here in the woods worked. Everything caught fire. Everything. And I honestly believe this, if you were in really wet, snowy conditions, if you could find a pine tree, you could carve down into it and light it with either of these. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. And just a quick note for those of you that like the bicycles, I just want to make a quick little note here at the end of this video. I went to a yard sale and bought 2 used aluminum frame mountain bikes for 10 bucks each. And so that's more future projects. So anyway, play with these lighters. Some of them sell them as an electric lighter, some of them sell them as an electric arc lighter, some of them sell them as a plasma lighter. They got different names. They're all over Amazon. They're Chinese companies. They're no-name companies. Now, I just thought of something. Nick had a very, very super expensive one that cost like $80, and I couldn't find it before this video. But he's got a very, very expensive one that's not Chinese. So, anyway, the bugs are out now. You can probably see them on the camera. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy, enjoy life, and we shall see you in the next one. I think I see a giant pine tree. I'll probably get home after dark. See you in the next one.